to William Lawrence, who joins us live. He's from the National Council on US-Arab Relations and is a former American diplomat. William, you know the region very well. Just your thoughts right now on this incredible moment in Syria. It's not even been a week since the Assad regime was toppled.
So a couple of initial thoughts. First of all, we have a huge disconnect between the jubilation of Syrians and the concerns of all the international actors, and neither side is wrong. Syrians have a huge emotional moment right now where they've thrown off 71 years of Ba'athist rule, 54 years of Assad family dictatorship, and hundreds of thousands of people killed and tortured and suffered. And it's such a relief to get rid of that. And that's why they all came together to throw out the dictator. My second thought is that we went on Saturday from 7 armies and 6 governments in Syria to 6 armies and 5 governments. And 2 of those have sort of merged to take over in Damascus. But those that are saying the country may fragment haven't been following Syria. The country's already fragmented with administrations all around. And all of that needs to be brought together in ways that Syrians are not used to making deals and coming together politically. And that's really important for the near term. In terms of the reconstruction and the humanitarian piece, which is, I think, a lot of what's behind your question and your excellent reporting, it used to be the Chinese, and that's the big question mark for me. Who's going to be doing the reconstruction? But I'm thinking with the 5 million Syrians in Turkey and Germany, 2 of the 3 biggest receiving countries, I would look to both the companies and resources coming from Turkey and Germany and relationships those 5 million Syrians have built over the last decade plus to come back and be a much greater part of the reconstruction than we would have thought, before the government fell and the Russians left.
And William, you're speaking to us from Washington, D.C., and as a former American diplomat, how do you think that the U.S. will work with Syria?
With some trepidation, with some hesitation. I mean, the U.S. is always, ready to apply its resources when the time is right and the conditions are right. But in recent years, in large part because of the U.S. gets so much criticism for the bad things it does in the world, they're very nervous about taking over or leading, in these types of situations of political transition. And so far, the U.S. seems more concerned about ISIS in Syria than the fall of the regime and what replaces it. And I'm not even sure, given what's going on in Lebanon and Gaza, that a lot of the Syrians in the world wants the Americans to take a leadership role. But the Americans have tremendous resources. They have some of the biggest humanitarian organizations in the world. They have huge reconstructive capacity. And they have a lot of experience helping transitional governments get things together. So hopefully the Americans will devote some resources there.
William, let's talk about the occupied Golan Heights, because we heard the White House National Security Advisor, Jake Sullivan, saying that the U.S. is not going to condemn or even criticize Israel's foray into occupied territory in Syria. He says it's logical and claims it's temporary. What are your thoughts on this?
Even if it's logical, it's illegal. And if it's temporary, there's no guarantees that it's temporary. I mean, a buffer zone to protect a buffer zone isn't necessarily necessary, although I know the Israelis are seized with the higher elevations there and what they can see and protect from there. But given the context of the war on Gaza and the war in Lebanon, and the fact that the Israeli right is now has this new ethic, which is sometimes articulated by the ministers of the right, that if you kill Israelis, we get to take your territory. I don't see any indications here that the Israelis don't plan to stay for a long time. And that's the problem. It's not that there's logic here. It's that it's illegal and it's affront to the Syrians right at a key moment where they need to get organized and get control of their territory.
William, thank you so much. Really appreciate your insight and analysis today. William Lawrence, thank you.